Hey folks, it's Manninen from the website TahoeTrailGuide.com. Welcome to my introduction to skate skiing. This is kind of the first part in a series of cross-country ski videos focused on none other than skate skiing. I just want to point out right off the bat that this is going to be primarily a discussion, this introduction video. I want to lay some groundwork for future tutorials and how-to lessons. And I think it's just important to learn certain things about the mechanics of skate skiing before diving right into a how-to. At least it is for me. That's how I learn. If it's not your cup of tea, fast forward to the next video where I start doing how-tos. But I think you'll get more out of those videos after watching this one. The first thing that I want to really kind of address is the fact that yes, skate skiing looks a lot different than classic or traditional cross-country skiing, but there's so many core elements to skate skiing and classic cross-country skiing that are all transferable and help one another. Single leg balance on one ski at a time, we still want that. We want to know how to push off. We want to know how to transfer our body weight, all of it, onto one ski so that when we glide, we're maximizing our recovery phase. The glide phase is the recovery phase. So we still have push off, weight transfer, and glide. So there's similarities between the two, but obviously they look superficially a lot different. With skate skiing, there's no grip zone. It's a smooth base. So it's 100% technique, and what I mean by that is that if you can't figure out how to move from side to side, you're not going to be going forward. I know that sounds funny, but the threshold I find with skate skiing is a lot higher than with classic. With classic skiing, because of the grip zone and the natural body movement of just going forward, we can get into it pretty easy just by walking and shuffling. But with skate skiing, it's real easy to go anaerobic really quick, trying to move forward. Because again, you have to know some technique in order to go forward. And even a very short angled hill, a 3-degree incline, can be a struggle for most beginners. That's not to say that you can't get it or you can't do it. It's just that there is a little bit higher threshold to get into skate skiing. I started with classic skiing. I did at least 5 years before I even got on skate skis, and that served me well because skate skiing is born out of classic skiing. So if you already have a good foundation in classic skiing, transitioning into or incorporating into your cross-country ski experience, skate skiing should be much more seamless in a lot of respects. There's still stuff you have to learn because again, it's different movements, but that core foundation of all these things, single leg balance, push off, weight transfer, and glide, they're all right in there as well. If you haven't had any kind of cross-country skiing experience and you're going straight to skate skiing, have no fear. Obviously, we can still work on that. We can piggyback on other body movement that you may have done before, such as rollerblading, ice skating, that sort of stuff. They're all gonna help to do that, and if you have no experience, that's fine too. Like no experience whatsoever with a rolling or a sliding sport, because when we have a straight beginner, we can learn correctly from scratch, and that's a great thing. And just another small note about classic versus skate. It's a little bit easier, at least I find, to go from classic to skate than it is from skate to classic. So just make sure you're ready for this whole skate skiing experience before diving into it. Classic may be a better starting point for you, but I'm assuming because you're watching this video that full steam ahead, we're doing skate skiing. So we're gonna keep working with that. In general, when we compare skating and classic skiing, across the board, you can figure that skate skiing is approximately like 15 to 20% faster. If you have the same athlete who has the same skill set in both disciplines, he's going to be faster on skate skis. So a classic ski has that grip zone, whether that's going to be a smooth base that you apply a sticky grip wax to, or a scale patterned grip zone, or a skin-based grip zone. When we're pushing off from one ski to the next, we're coming to just a momentary pause on each ski. So when I'm classic skiing, I'm pushing those scales or that grip zone into the snow. My foot technically comes to a stop. With skate skiing, when we're pushing off, we're gliding and then on a flat ski, and then we're rolling onto our inside edge of a ski as we push off. And as we're pushing off and edging that ski, we're still technically gliding forward. So there's never any stop to our skis. So inherently, just by the mechanical action of this technique, we're always moving forward, we're always gliding. So they're just going to be a little bit faster. But again, technique is paramount in skate skiing. If you can't figure out how to move laterally from side to side, it's going to be really challenging. So how is it that if I push to the side, I'm still going to go forward? How is that possible? It is a mind bender, and it is one of the things that people get tripped up about when they're going from classic ski, for example, to skate skiing. They still want to do this kind of pushing themselves forward thing, but sometimes just like at an angle, or they want to do some sort of zigzag pattern as they go forward, thinking that's the way. We have to keep our feet in this plane, this lateral plane. Being able to travel forward while pushing off from side to side is a combination of multiple factors. It's a combination between our position, the orientation of our skis, and a little bit of help from gravity. For example, once we put our skis in a V shape, we find that neutral spine, we drop our weight so our ankles and knees are flexed, and then we hinge forward at the ankles. Those skis should start to travel forward. They'll glide out, at which point we're going to need to start catching ourselves, because if we don't, we're just going to fall flat on our face. At that point, we're going to shift our body weight over to one ski so that we have good alignment on top of the ski, meaning nose, knees, toes nearly directly over that ski. We're going to glide. Once we reach the end of our glide phase, whatever that might be, if it's on a hill, it's probably going to be a very short glide. If it's on the flats, it's going to be a little bit longer. But once we reach that point where we're going to push off, we pressure down on our ski with its inside edge engaged, and then shift over to the other ski and repeat that sequence. So landing a flat ski, gliding, engaging the inside edge of that ski, and then pushing off to the next glide ski. People often ask how wide should the V orientation of their skis be, and that's all dependent on terrain, snow conditions, your fitness or fatigue level of that day. But the general rule of thumb is to make it as wide as it needs to be, but as narrow as it could be. Essentially, you're going to have a wider V orientation on a steeper hill, and then a much shallower angle to those skis when you're on the flats. After that initial push forward, then it's just a matter of keeping our momentum up. We're still going to keep that same body position. We're going to try to capitalize on gravity a little bit, but we're going to keep pushing those skis out. Now, one point I'd like to make about pushing off laterally is that once we push off from the glide ski and shift our weight over to that new glide ski, that leg that we just pushed off is going to relax a little bit. Often it'll look like we were pushing back with the ski instead of to the side, but that's simply because our leg is slightly relaxed and we don't need to keep it 100% out to the side. It's just exhaust, basically. But it's this orientation that sometimes throws beginners off because it looks like, again, we're pushing off in some sort of zigzag pattern. But just trust me on this, you need to be able to push off from side to side. Another item that I'd like to describe as far as the geometry of the ski goes, a skate ski can afford to be a little bit stiffer. With a classic ski, we need to flatten it completely in order to get push off, to get the grip zone into the snow so that we can move forward. But with a skate ski, we don't necessarily have to get the entire length of the inside edge to be able to push off. So even if we don't get this part edged into the snow, that's okay. We mostly want to get the tip, the front half, and the tail edged, and we'll still be able to get a really powerful push off. If we end up with a ski that's too soft for us, what tends to happen then is that you get the tips and the tails rockering up, so they make kind of this little smiley face look, and then you're kind of just pushing off from this inside edge, and it can be really squirrely. So in general, we can run a stiffer ski in skate skiing compared to a ski that's too stiff for our body weight in classic. Because again, classic, we need to get the whole ski flat onto the snow just for a split second so that we can push off. Here we don't need that. We just need the main part of the tips and tails to be touching snow for us to get a really powerful push off. All right, just a really brief recap. The three main principles that we're working with here is pushing off all of our weight, transferring it over to our gliding ski, and then lather, rinse, repeat. Push off, weight transfer, and then glide. These are the three basic elements. Same as classic skiing, just pushing off from side to side. You can do this in your living room, watching a show, just work on this single leg balance. All that is applicable here. And then we have this idea that we want to have this neutral spine, drop our weight, hinge forward just slightly to the point where we have to catch ourselves. I've used the analogy before too, like if we were standing up to a really big tree and we were going to hug that tree, the roots are out, so we can't stand directly next to it and hug. We have to lean in a little bit to hug that tree. So bring those into this body position. And then just to get you started, if you wanted a lesson today, and I'll probably cover it in another video again, but let's get in that body position. Let's get those skis into a V, and then let's cheat the inside edges. So we're rotating those edges into the snow, leaning forward, letting them slide apart, and then catching ourselves, and then just doing that down the trail. That's a good first step, literally and figuratively, to skate skiing. Just want to say thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. For those of you who have made one-time or two-time contributions through Venmo and PayPal, you guys are amazing. Feel free to leave any comments, criticisms, critiques in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to respond to any inquiries that you might have. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. So thanks again for all of your support. Take care, folks.